Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. There's a side of you pulls me into you. Got that way of showing me that you're bad news. Oh, Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. All that you do is lie. All that you do is lie. Tonight, up in the air, that's where you take me, I swear. I always knew that you would be a key of truth or dare. Oh, Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. There's a side of you pulls me into you. Got that way of showing me that you're bad news. Oh, Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. Gemini, all that you do is lie. All you do is lie.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And welcome.
You got no bell.
You see the camera?
I see the camera and I see it dark, yes.
I see
and
how
it's
dark it
crooked.
is. And everything's crooked.
And it's a little dark, yes.
Is it a little dark? Welcome,
Yes.
welcome, welcome. There's a light off over here. Look at her going. Look at her going.
She's figuring it out.
She's scaring me. It shouldn't be that hard.
I don't know where your bell is, by the way.
You took it.
I took it and
And there's
see
no
what happens
applause?
when you go to lunch?
Wait, how come there was no applause? Who's on the board?
I gotta find your bell. Anyway, happy Monday to you. Happy Monday. BOLOGNA. Can you believe I remember that song? You know,
Wow.
I remember growing up, and after school, my after-school snack, I'd go to my friend Lisa's house, and she would make a bologna boat.
I remember those.
And she would take bologna, American cheese, white bread, and Miracle Whip,
That's disgusting.
and put it in the microwave and make a bologna melt.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
So I'm just saying, I don't know, we're talking about jingles and Oscar Mayer, and somehow you always remember the jingles from growing up.
I would take bologna and heat it up with some cheese, and it would turn into a boat.
Yes, it kind
And
of
put
like,
it on a sandwich with mayo, but I wouldn't do anything else to it.
no Miracle Whip? You went straight for the
Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip.
What is that?
It's like mayonnaise spread, I think it was called.
That's disgusting.
Got me from the mayonnaise man.
I don't like that.
Anyway, happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday. This has been an exhausting weekend.
You had an exhausting weekend, busy day today. We got Josh, JP. We got a full crew today.
You brought in our special guest here.
Joanna Fox is here from Stitchcraft, and she was nice enough, kind enough to let our crew venture into her store on Wednesday over on 20th Street. So she's going to be joining us.
I have to ask you,
Yes.
before you get into that,
Yes.
I knew she was coming.
Yes.
So I found all my socks that has holes in them. Now, do you 86 the socks and buy new ones, or do you stitch them?
Me?
Not you, because you get rid of your car when it needs tires. I can only imagine. So if your socks had a hole in it,
Actually, I have socks that have a big hole in the bottom.
Did you get rid of it?
No, I still wear them, and every time I forget they're there, and I'm like, why am I wearing these? But they're going to go in
Do
the
you
garbage next.
sew them up?
They go in the garbage.
Why?
Socks are so inexpensive. Just start again.
Thread is even more inexpensive. And isn't it an art to thread socks? Isn't that like something we used to do in the day?
I don't know. We'll have to find
Yes?
Yes.
See?
What's old is new again.
That's right. It's a throwback. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there's anybody out there that wants to throw itself back, we have I got about 400 socks that need to
Darning.
be... What?
Darning. Darning the socks.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
It's called darning the socks?
Yes.
In the Bronx, we used to call it stitch them up and wear them.
It's called darning.
And in the Bronx, we didn't have the same color socks and thread. So you could have black socks with white thread. It made no difference.
It just didn't make a difference.
Made no difference. It is what it is, and you wore it the way you wore it.
So happy Monday to you. Happy Monday, everyone. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A. It's been sometimes the long weekends, and it's only 2 days, feels like the longest weekend. But I got caught up on some stuff. Did you get caught up on some stuff?
No.
And Jay Harmon must have also, because he's one of our in-house colored pencil artists. Grab that picture, Freddie, underneath you. He dropped these off for us. These are his last 2 weeks of a show. And today he's doing, this is a great one he's doing. You know David in Italy, the famous David,
No.
the statue of David,
No.
the thinker,
Oh, yes, the
David.
thinker.
But you know, David, like David.
Stop saying his name because it
But
ain't
he's
going to make a
called-
difference. I just know the thinker. David,
Okay.
David,
There's
David, David, David,
and then
David.
there's the thinker. Okay,
There's the
David is the
thinker.
tall guy who his anatomy is very exposed.
What, the guy like this?
No, that's the anatomy guy.
I don't look at
Anyway,
naked guys. Sorry, moving
David
on.
is his latest, and he's doing David 2020. So wait to see what this looks like. You have to tune in for this week's episode of David 2020.
Is that where I got my David out? Is that where it comes from? No, is it?
I've
That's
never heard that
disgusting.
before.
That's disgusting. You know what?
Is that a
Never mind.
thing?
Yes.
I've never heard of that
it's
before.
disgusting.
I don't know, but he dropped off the past 2 weeks' episodes of the finished product. This is red sunglasses, and that is sort of.
This
Touch
is
Me.
moist lips.
This is like,
moist lips.
I think he called it like Touch Me or something like that. But isn't that great? These are his latest on his pop art rendition, all
There
done
is-
in colored pencil.
There's a little bit of lip on his finger.
Yeah, it's her. I venture to say that would be a woman. Not that I'm being gender specific or anything, but just thinking that maybe it is.
This is very
Pop arty.
seductive.
Yes. And these are the latest that hang here in the Brooklyn Cafe Show Gallery. And yes, everything here that you see is for sale. We sold one of Alan Benowitz's photography pieces last
The
week.
one that's hanging at the
The
Guggenheim.
cigar lady that hangs in the Louvre
That's
is. We also just had a copy of it here, and that has been sold and going to a new, improved person. So these are available. We've got Joanna with us. We've got the crew working on some new pieces, some new Comcast commercials that are coming out. Let us know how we can help amplify your business and get going.
And I got a phone call back from the photographer, a Brazilian bombshell.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, she's hooking me up with an RV. We may be going to Tampa.
She goes, hi, Jim. I miss you.
Yeah, she don't talk to me
Hey,
that way.
Jim.
She don't talk to me that way.
Is he laughing
She
in
says,
there?
what do you want?
Hey, Jim, she misses you. Danielle Boujon is one of the most spectacular photographers you will ever find, from headshots to pregnancy pictures. She posted some beautiful pictures over the weekend. Wow.
I know, I told her that I like women pregnant in her photography. Must have been 200. Everybody in Florida must be pregnant.
Do you know, as a matter of fact, they say, well, Florida's just crazy in itself, that there's actually a decrease in births since 2020.
Well, nobody got together to have children.
But meanwhile, that's because everyone was sequestered together, and I went, not so much. I think you can stay on your side of the house and I'll stay on mine.
And the divorce rate went up.
I would venture to say it probably did.
And this ain't the Bronx. This is Florida.
But Florida's just a whole nother island to itself.
It's gonna sink. 962 people come to Florida every day.
Yeah, Florida's a
Moving
whole nother
here
special
from
kind of
other
place.
places. Not good.
Anyway, let's get into chatting with our guests. We've got Joanna Fox here of Stitchcraft joining us.
Now, last Wednesday we met
Joanna?
Joanna when we sent the crew out, right? And she was graceful enough to come in and check it out. Originally from Boston via the Bronx. Just saying. And she's here to teach us how to stitch.
Let's talk
Stitch
about
one,
what
purl
stitch.
two.
You know, that's one thing I cannot do is sew. So, welcome, Joanna. Welcome. Thank you for joining us in our studio.
Thank you for having me. You two are hilarious.
A huge thank you for allowing us to sort of invade your space last Wednesday. But our crew, because we're trying to be very careful about what's going on, we don't have as many people in-house as normal. So we go to you. And then people are working and they're in business and they can't come to us or they don't know about us. So we figured we go out and we share. And then we got to meet you and you were great. We have to get you mini donuts also the next time.
I was expecting to have donuts today. I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't have adult donuts.
Mini Donut World, we got to get Joanna some adult donuts for sure.
They got so busy after that show. He says, "Frank, I'm a little busy right now." Every time he comes in here, it sort of explodes. But oh my goodness gracious. Next time we do that bit, we should take the donuts with us. We should have had you try some
My
donuts.
customers
yourself.
would love that.
I know.
They would absolutely love those donuts.
Tell us about Stitchcraft.
So Stitchcraft is should I be looking this way?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay, so Stitchcraft is we're a retail store and a website that is hobby-based. Sorry. Yes. I'm used to I usually have a mic. I have a mic.
Oh, she's still having a lapel, I guess.
So it's okay.
She's an artist.
So we're hobby based. So we are a fabric store, a yarn store. We teach classes on sewing and quilting and knitting and crochet and embroidery, and we just have a lot of fun. We surround ourselves with creative people or people who want to be creative. It's fun.
How long have you had the store?
So this month it's been 12 years in Boca.
In that
Okay.
location?
Not in that location. That's actually my third location. I started off 12 years ago in a small store space just off Federal Highway in downtown Boca. And within 6 months, just to see if it would work, within 6 months, I had gotten really busy and I moved across the street to a 3,200 square foot space. And I was there up until 2 years ago. I'm now in a bigger space right around the corner.
How much space do you have?
It's 3,700 square feet of
Wow.
space that includes showroom space, shopping space for the fabric. We had added yarn 2 years ago. So the yarn for knitting and crochet is fairly new. It's just 2 years old. We brought it in just before COVID. We also have classroom space, and then we have a machine technician who has a space where he can repair all brands of sewing machines, even the old ones with the pedal.
The singer?
Anything.
Really?
George can do anything. But yes, we actually have a treadle in the store that works.
A treadle.
You know, it's the
Yeah.
kind with the pedal that,
Yeah.
everybody's grandma's had that, which I have because I've never actually done this, but I always say if we ever lose power from a hurricane, I can still sew. Just by,
Now, are you a
pedal.
good sewer?
I am a good quilter.
Quilter.
Which is sewing. I am not a great garment maker. That's not my background. I'm more of I started more crafting and more art oriented. So I do art quilting, which is a whole different realm into itself, which is why I keep looking at all the art. And I'm enjoying that. And I got more into quilting, which is more two-dimensional, and I have some samples that I can show you. But I do more quilting and home dec. I started with sewing bags. So when I first got into sewing as an adult, I was making tote bags and zippered pouches and things as gifts. So that's really where I got my start as a grown-up sewing. Got into quilting. I'm not really great at making things that have to fit because I'm usually sewing at night by myself when I'm not at work, and it's hard to fit myself. So
Now, I got a question for you.
yes,
You see that bay door?
yes,
I got to cover that bay door
okay.
somehow. But it has to look like I didn't do it on purpose. It's got to look phenomenal. Like we put curtains up to try to cover the uglies. And that thing is just so huge. I don't know how to approach it. And I was thinking about a fabric because I can't block it. It has to be accessible in case of an emergency.
Right.
But I'm thinking about putting something, maybe a fabric or something that would look nice. What do you think?
I think the drapery is like you have it, but in some way that can roll up so you can use the bay door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Something
see?
that's going to be heavier, like more drapery, which what we have in the shop is not really home deck heavy fabric. We have lighter fabrics that are more suitable for quilting and some garments. So, a lot of people come in and get fabric for sundresses or like cool Tommy Bahama style camp shirts, and of course cute dresses for little boys and little outfits, or little cute dresses for little girls. And I know I'm being gender neutral, so I can say boys and girls, or like little shirts for boys, baby clothes, pillows. So it's not the heavy stuff, it's more like
You sell large rolls of garment?
not
of
like they
fabric?
have at the home. No, we have rolls, but it's a little bit different. They're on bolts, and the width of our fabric is really about 44 inches, so it's
Gotcha.
not super huge.
Gotcha.
So
How did you decide to open your own store? You used to be down by the Pink Plaza, right?
I was across the street from the Pink Plaza, which is not pink, but I painted my building pink because when I think of downtown Boca, I think of pink.
I remember
So,
when
yes.
you were over there, very close
Yes.
to the radio station,
Okay.
and then you moved up here. But to have
Yes.
3,600 square feet of crafting material,
Yes.
and then a pandemic hits,
Well,
how is business going?
It's been difficult for everybody. I can't, anybody, all of my customers did really well during COVID. So anybody that has a hobby, whether it's sewing, quilting, knitting, crochet, or painting or sketching, anybody that had a creative hobby, I'm sure did fine during COVID because they had things to occupy their time. People that didn't, maybe, had a little more stress. You could lock
Why
me
is
in my
that up there?
studio at home and I could
Take that
just
down,
entertain
Smith.
Take that
myself
down.
forever. But we were closed for a while, and then a lot of our customer base were not coming in shopping. So we did amp up our website and change that over during COVID. We had a weaker website before because we really cater to our customers that walk in, and they come from all over the world. Anybody visiting South Florida who is a sewer or a quilter, they look it up online, when they visit an area and visit the local shop. So that's a big thing. So it was difficult to not have visitors, not have tourists, not have that regular boost, especially during season where, I'm used to having an influx of people coming in from all over, and we didn't have that. So it was rough. But, we're creative, so we figured out a way to keep our head above
And
water.
I remember anyone that I knew that was quilting and wanted fabric, that your store is where they would go. And I
Yes.
remember back from when you were down in East Boca, you're still East Boca, you're just
Yes.
further north. You are the place to go.
Yes.
The only place that does what you do. Just being very modest, by the way.
Well-
Now that I know what store you are, like everyone would go there to learn to quilt, to get involved with people that quilt,
Yes.
because it's a family, it's a way of life. Like quilters stick with quilters.
Yes.
And they come together, and that becomes your group.
Yes. And there's a whole charity aspect of it. There's a big social aspect of it. Boca has 3 quilt guilds, which are like, clubs, like the Garden Club. Boca has 3 quilt guilds that are all fairly large. The oldest one has been in existence for, I think, 33 years now. It's been a long time. And, besides doing social things and having classes, there's a big charity component to them. So they make quilts for veterans. They make pillowcases for the pediatric centers. They make these little lap quilts that they call fidget quilts that are for Alzheimer's patients or mentally impaired patients. So there's a big charitable aspect to these makers that come into the shop. And the knitters, and I don't want to forget the knitters and crocheters, they make preemie hats for the NICU. They make bassinet covers for the NICU. So there's a big charity component to all the creative people that darken our doors.
And the history of quilting is fascinating. If you watch the history, have you know anything about quilting? Right, it's back from when you were telling a story. And this was a way to get the information out with the slaves and those in the South, without being able to share their story because they couldn't. went through quilting, and then that's how stories got passed from generation to generation.
Yes. It was also a way, the Boca Museum actually did a quilting exhibition several years ago that was in conjunction with the Folk Art Museum in New York. So they got an exhibition. It also had the 9/11 quilt. And a lot of the women in earlier days, like before they could vote, sometimes they would get together in these quilting bees, and this was how they almost had a voice. So they would almost make a political statement by creating some of these quilts. And they also used them as fundraisers where they might have areas where they could sell off a signature, and you can grab that if you want to take it out.
I thought you wanted to learn to quilt, Valerie.
Do you quilt?
No.
Do you not? What's the thing with the 2 needles?
Knit? No.
Knitting.
I don't
That's what
crochet,
I-
I don't knit. I barely can thread the eye of a needle to
I
darn
knit.
sock.
I knit it,
Did you?
and I was in my 20s.
It's very, very, very meditative and cathartic.
It
That's
was
what
the
they
best
say.
way of picking up women
They say it's very therapeutic.
in the day.
Okay.
That's
It
the
is-
way we picked up ladies.
What did you make, like socks?
It made no
and
difference.
scarves.
I never
and
finished the damn
sweaters?
thing I made. But if there was somebody who I wanted to talk to, you know how these kids are all afraid to talk to somebody? You do that knit 1, pearl 2 thing. You do that.
don't know that.
And I used to pay guys to do it, people. So it was like a long thing, like I had done it, you know, and I would sit there with this long thing. I don't know what it was. It made no difference. I'm sorry. Did you do this? Yes. And by the way, what is your name?
Wow.
Boom.
That's
was-
very clever.
And it was
Okay.
the best,
Welcome to the mind of Freddie. Yes.
and it worked. And
Now
it
they
was.
have dogs, but back then they had knitting.
Well, this is before a dog.
Love it.
But the puppies are good. But the knitting thing,
That's clever.
and then they used to say, "Oh, why don't we make a knitting circle?" And then I used to get in trouble. Oh, no,
Very clever. Very clever.
You're very clever.
never happened. You
But
never
I
did?
love, we do so much with women empowerment. I know. This is a way for women to have a voice before they had a voice, to actually come together and speak their mind without speaking their mind.
Yes, but we do have a lot of gentlemen that come in, especially with quilting,
You should quilt.
because there are, fabric quilting kind of gets a bad rap because it seems so old-fashioned and homey and old ladyish. But in reality, especially I have the privilege of going to a lot of shows. There are quilt shows. I've been to quilt museums, and the workmanship, and it's all over the world. It's art, very often art, and it gets a bad rap. But a lot of the people it's basically painting very often. It can be painting with fabric. So there's a lot of gentlemen who will come into quilting and, make it into an art. Nobody rolls their eyes if a guy says they're sculpting, but if you say you're quilting, people might go, oh, really? Like your grandma did? But it's creating with fabric.
Do you remember the AIDS quilt? You were probably in New York when the AIDS quilt was started and started touring.
Yes.
I don't. Maybe I don't remember.
Because that's how it brought awareness to, and I guess it's a fundraiser also. They would take this quilt everywhere.
The 9/11 quilt, I remember. I
The
remember
9/11 quilt was incredible. It was
Yeah.
so impactful, and it was at the museum here.
that. Yeah, that I
It was
remember.
amazing.
And you brought some pieces with you.
I did. I grabbed these kind of at the last minute, and I apologize, but we were kind of busy this morning.
That's good.
So I just kind of grabbed some samples of some of the things that we're doing, and just to kind of show you. So these are also things that are kind of readily available on my way out of the store. And so when we say quilting, the quilting is actually taking 2 pieces of fabric and putting a piece of batting or something in between and making a sandwich. So quilting is not always making a quilt. And this is a table runner. It's a sample of our Christmas projects, because believe it or not, we get all of our Christmas and Halloween fabric in May and June and July, because people need some time to make Christmas gifts and Hanukkah gifts and decor. So they start early. And this is a table runner that we made as a sample of, something that somebody might make for decor for their home or to give as a gift for the holidays.
Val, Grandma would like that. Grandma would like this.
So this is really cute. This is new
Right?
fabric. So this is the kind of fabric that we have in the store. This is very happy Christmas. And let's see. So this I brought this is in no particular order. But this is a just kind of a wrap, a shawl that's knit out of cotton and tencel, which is bamboo, and it's super, super cool. So this would be something that you could see, like I'd throw this over a Lily Pulitzer sundress if I went into a restaurant and it was cold, and you can just kind of throw it on. And it's not old lady looking, and it's not wool, and it's not itchy, but you can just kind of toss it over a sundress. And
And that's made of bamboo?
it's made of a yarn it's a cotton bamboo blend. So it's not, if you touch it, it's really cool. And actually the fabric is from Fezza Yarns, and the yarn itself originally was made into a kit for a baby blanket, and it was the softest, most drapiest baby blanket, and people, like, the kits flew out, they still fly out, for people to make little gifts, because it's such a nice gift to make a baby blanket. But people wanted it for themselves because it's got such a
Soft,
soft, cool hand to it that the company then came out with a nice pattern. You can make anything you want, but there's a pattern for the kit to make a shawl for a grown-up.
Do you have things that you could buy?
Finished?
Yeah.
Not really, but we do
People
have
like me.
sample sales on occasion. We will be having a sample sale from coming up, soon, probably in the fall. So we do sell off some of the samples, but anybody can learn to do this.
Even
I
her.
really believe. I teach a lot of the classes myself. Not the knitting classes, because I'm fairly new knitter. I've only been knitting a couple years, but I teach quilting. I teach bags and table runners and all kinds of things. I can teach anybody.
Does it require you to have any patience?
Everybody needs to have patience a little bit,
A little
but
bit.
it's the journey of doing it. So everybody, if you're sitting and you're watching Netflix and a lot of us need to have busy hands. I can't just sit. That's why during COVID I got a lot, I really honed my knitting skills because I was watching, all these things on Netflix, but I can't just sit there. I can't sit with idle hands. I have to be busy. And so I would sit and, watch a movie or watch a show, and I'd be knitting or crocheting or sometimes hand stitching. I do embroidery. I do a lot of different things. I'm a jack of all crafts, master of, maybe a few, but but I do a lot of things because I really like having busy hands. I find it to be very relaxing. I'm also not a perfectionist. I don't expect everything to
Therein lies
be
my
perfect.
problem.
That's the problem. yeah.
And I'll tell you, the Amish, which, a lot of people, when they think of quilting, they think of the Amish. And the Amish, if you ever go up to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or any of the Amish areas, they have amazing quilting, quilt museums, quilt shows, shops. But they will make an intentional error in their work. Sometimes that you can actually see because their belief is only, their God is perfect, so that they will intentionally not have perfection in their projects.
That-
So if I make a mistake, I say it's my ode to the Amish.
Well,
That's-
see that painting up there? It says
made
we
us.
all made her,
Yes.
the big green one.
Yep.
It's
So her
missing a T.
intentional mistake was it's missing a T.
Okay.
So instead of we all made it matter, it's we all made her because that was her
No one's
intentional
perfect.
mistake. Exactly.
In the Bronx, I must have been Amish because I didn't do one thing right when it came to these things.
But I'm thinking with your quilting, that flower and that duck right in front of you,
Yes.
those are tapestries that she's made from other paintings.
Okay.
And one of her
Cool.
latest ones I saw are guitars. So she takes the old canvases and makes them into new paintings, which would be really cool to take some of her artwork now and create a quilt from it. Amy's stuff.
Interesting.
Yes. And there's a lot of mixed media. I mean, that's actually where I started. I didn't even know really what quilting was as a hobby. When I look back at my early projects when I started playing around with fabric, I was taking fabric, rubber stamps, hand stitching, found objects and putting them together, usually with a message, and hanging them up in my studio, not realizing that it's a art quilt. So
It's interesting because you could put fabric around paintings to dress them up. And it looks kind of cool.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
and you can paint on fabric.
Oh, wait till we go to commercial break. Joanna, does he have an idea for you? Let's take a commercial break. More with Joanna Fox from Stitchcraft right here on 20th Street in Boca Raton. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A. and we'll be right back.
Do you need a strong cup of coffee to get you through your day? Try your very own Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee, the official coffee of the Brooklyn Cafe Show. You can pick up a bag from us or two. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or just stop on by. We're at 2400 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard, Suite 13. Come on in, grab a bag of our signature Brooklyn Cafe coffee. The cafe doors are always open.
Hi, I'm Tracy McDonough, owner and founder of Healing Moments. Healing Moments is a healing playroom, a mind, body, spirit center. Our service is love and compassion, and the environment is soothing, peaceful, and inviting. Every area is designed for healing and peace. We deliver services such as massage therapy or lymphatic drainage, energy healing and Reiki, chakra balancing, physical vascular therapy for circulation and pain, vibrational medicine using frequencies and oils, and music in order to calm and relax your mind, body, and spirit. We also offer detoxification services using infrared sauna, ionic foot baths, and power plates. All of our modalities are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, induce relaxation, relieve pain, and provide detoxification and inflammation reduction for optimal healing and wellness.
Today I'm very excited because I'm going to be launching something new. Hello everyone, my name is Jane Goldie Wynn, and I'm excited to be here to tell you about my book signing, which is an exciting event because it's post-pandemic, and it's going to be held right here in the Brooklyn Cafe studio from 6 to 8 p.m. on Friday evening, August 20th, right after work. And it'll be a fun time. This is my book, Rainbow in the Night, A Journey of Redemption, and it is my true life story. So I'll be sharing a little bit about behind the scenes, why it took me 20 years to write the book, and just some interesting anecdotes that I will be telling you about. So I just hope that you'll join us because it will be just a fabulous time. We'll be giving away some interesting things. I'm not going to tell you, you'll have to come and find out. But it'll be just a chance to gather together and have a social time, and people will be able to ask me questions about the book, and hopefully some people who've read the book can come forward and share what their experience has been like. So again, this is the event, and it is on Friday evening, August 20th, right here at the Brooklyn Cafe studio from 6 to 8. So please let me know if you're going to be attending, because we want to make sure we have the right number of refreshments, and seating is limited. So you can text me at 215-990-7752 or give me a call. And you can also email me at Goldalah, Goldalah, @gmail.com. So we hope to see you there. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and you don't want to miss it. So I'll see you soon. Shalom now.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
love Mount
in a couple
Dora.
weeks. I know, I love Mount Dora. So it still exists. Maybe a little less down here because, you know, the fine art shows have kind of taken over a little bit, and there's less places to have them. But in the world, it's still, you know, and in the country and various places, it's still there. And wherever I go, whenever I travel, I always look up a quilt shop, or a yarn store. So I was just up in Massachusetts, and I was, you know, did a search before I went to see if there's any places to visit, because there's no two that are the same. And when you walk in, you know, most of the time, you immediately have a connection because you have a similar hobby. And people want to know where you're from and what your local store's like, or what are the people, you know, that are in your area or your quilt guild, what are they making, what's popular. So it's really, and if you're moving to another area, this is the best. I mean, people will, especially how many people are moving to Florida? You said like
892 a day.
892 a day. So if any of them are quilters, they immediately, you know, have a way to connect. If they have a hobby, whether it's mine or another hobby, but if you have a hobby, you have an immediate way to connect with other people, you know, and that's, it makes it easier, you know, no matter what, no matter where you go, which is nice.
She makes it feel like anybody could do this.
They can,
But that's the vibe you give off.
yes.
She has that smooth sailing vibe.
I bet Slick could do it.
No, not Slick.
I think Slick could knit.
No, not Slick. Because he'll stab himself in the finger.
No, I think Slick could knit. It would be very therapeutic.
I gotta tell you something, not for nothing, but in New York, that stuff was very competitive. Because the women wanted to say, well, you think you that? Check this out. And they used to bring out these Rembrandts. Woo, baby. I'm gonna tell you.
The blankets and all of it.
They just had so much patience, and they were intricate, and they were perfect. And you would say, wow, can I buy that from you? I don't want to do it, I want to buy it.
Yeah,
It's that good. And she has that whole flow going. Like she said, what she wears around her wrist to keep going, she has that whole flow. That's why
You have
you've
a
been so
tattoo? It's a
successful.
It's a tattoo,
Okay.
yep.
So successful at what she's been doing for such a long period of time. It's funny, we actually did the elements for a new show that we're opening up on Friday, and we were talking about flow. And we're talking about you got to be good not just one day, you got to be good every day. And as the business owner, you got to be good and then some every day. Every day. You can have a bad day, just can't have a bad day out in the open too long, because you still got to run that business. And the challenges that are going about right now, you got to be creative. And I just get this feel that she's very creative. What else you got in that bag?
I have all kinds of things.
I see that.
I didn't bring
What is
anything
that?
too big.
That's
But I
okay.
literally just grabbed, okay, so like this is a little project bag. So this is like I made it out of, so this is like knitting fabric, yarn fabric. And this is just a quick project bag. It took me, I don't know, maybe an hour from start to finish to make this. And it has pockets, so like a knitter, crocheter,
That's
or anybody would
cool.
like keep their projects in here. Makes a nice gift. And then
Slick, you can get that to Dan.
okay, so so I brought a quilt. I just grabbed one quilt on my way out because they're big. They're also hanging. So this is a quilt, and this is a sampler quilt, which is something like when you think of older quilts back in the olden days, a lot of times they did different blocks or people would collaborate. So and most of these blocks are traditional. They're kind of big, bright, happy
love that.
colors, but here, can I put this down so I can show you?
That's
something?
beautiful. The colors and the.
You know, we used to have a game, Truth or Dare, with this. And you
That's
used to throw
beautiful.
like a little bean bag, or wherever it fell, you had to answer the questions.
So
That's
this is-
spectacular.
I mean, this is simple. This was kind of part of a
Simple.
workshop that we did, and and this I quilted on my home machine. The actual quilting. So when you're sewing everything together, it's called piecing. The quilting, technically, is when you're stitching all of the pieces together in that sandwich. So that's
Did you
actually-
make the pieces, or did you get the pieces made and then you?
No,
put it
I
together?
made this.
You made that.
I cut this. I cut all the little pieces out of big pieces of fabric. I cut little pieces, sewed them together. Then, I made them. These are called blocks, so they're like 12-inch squares, and then I put them together and.
But
put it all
where's
together.
where's the thread? What? It's
For
on
this
the other side?
particular one, so you can't see the thread when you're putting them
Right.
together. You don't see the thread. And then this, I I did white on white, so you kind of, I guess you can't see this particular one.
Right.
You can see the pattern where I stitched it, but it kind of blends in.
Wow.
I don't always do that, and I didn't really think about it when I chose this, but you
It's
can't see the
beautiful.
thread, but it's
That's spectacular.
it's fun to make.
I love the colors. I mean, you can use it. I can see putting you and your grandchildren. I know they're always in my head. Putting the babies out on it and letting the babies play, or playing a game, or then bringing it, just on a couch throw. I mean, there's so many options to do.
I have quilts all over my house, and these can be washed. So they're meant to go in the washing machine and the dryer, and the washing machine and the dryer. These can, they're meant to be used. So
We got to get that for the white sofa.
I have quilts like this, especially because I make them all for the store. They're all over my house. But when I'm sitting and watching Netflix and I'm knitting, I have one on my lap or whatever, so I don't.
We got to get those materials because the sofas, people come in,
Can I take naps?
and no, you put it so they can sit on it.
Or you have put one that has the logo on it. Maybe she can make one with that says the Brooklyn Cafe.
We can embroider it. We have embroidery machines, like we sell embroidery machines. We don't do it, but maybe we can find somebody who will do it for you, and you can embroider your logo.
That's
We could do that
kinda
on
And make a pillow.
on here. I
Make
think
a
we even
pillow.
asked, yeah.
We could put the logo on the chairs. Wow.
If we can find someone to
That's
do it, yeah.
spectacular. That is unbelievable.
What, the quilt?
That
Yeah.
quilt, that
Thank you.
particular quilt is unreal.
And that's a simple one.
Of
See,
course it is.
it is simple. It is simple. It's not a beginner. Like our beginner ones don't usually have triangles. We start with squares and rectangles. But, quilting, anybody really can do it. Knitting has a little more coordination, but quilting isn't really coordination as much as it is just kind of taking your time. And and what I also like about the fiber arts and, anything fabric fiber, it's a clean and neat hobby. So I've done all kinds of things. I've done soldering jewelry and, painting watercolor. What I like about the fiber arts is that, I can be in my studio and I'm sewing away, and then, somebody calls and says, come on, let's go, so and such, and I can just shut the iron, shut the whatever, put my scissors down and go. I don't have to clean brushes. I don't have to clean up. I don't have to change. It's a very, I have to wear an apron. It's a nice clean. I mean, I have fabric everywhere, but it's something that's kind of clean.
Did you quilt before you started the business, or did you start doing it after you opened the business?
Well, as I said, I had been doing some art quilting. I just didn't know that was a thing. So I was incorporating fabric. I was doing more sewing, so I did more bags. But how I actually got into the quilt shop, I bought a store in Sanibel Island called Three Crafty Ladies that I had shopped at for 20 years, going over there with my family. And the original owner, who had it for like 30 years at the time, I walked in one day and it was for sale. There was a sign, shop for sale, and I said to her, you can't close this. This is like my getaway, my happy place. She said, I need to find somebody that will run it the way I want it to run, that it's intended to run. So I bought the store. And that store had quilting, it had scrapbooking, it had cross stitch, fine art supplies, gifty things. And so as I was learning the different segments of that business, I realized, and I got more into quilting, that there wasn't anything here in Boca. And that's how that little store started, that then blossomed into a big store.
Isn't that amazing? You
So-
take your hobbies, you take something you love,
Yeah.
and it becomes your business, and
Yes.
it becomes your life and your livelihood and your legacy, and what you now do for all of these incredible people in Boca.
Yes,
You
I
give
don't
them
have a
an
lot of
outlet.
time to do it for myself. Now, people think, like a lot of people that have, and I know people that have started shops like mine and then closed shops like mine because they're like, yeah, we can just have a business and we can just sit and quilt and sew all day long and play with fabric. Well, no, that doesn't happen. It's fun. I get to play with fabric and I get to help other people pick their projects, and other people play with fabric, but during the day, I'm not really sewing for me.
I would
It's-
go in and
it's
look for fabric, and I would get overwhelmed, and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to buy this, and then I would buy everything, and then it would sit in my house. And I would never, this is what happens, I get very excited to start activities and projects, and then I don't have time to finish activities and projects.
You have to pick your poison.
I don't know, you and I work 3-4 nights a week, so.
But that's just it. Everybody thinks that you sit home and you play with a camera or a microphone all day.
You don't?
Not at all. And
You
there's
and
so
I
many,
go from here to the radio station.
you know, sometimes it's so, I get embarrassed because sometimes, like when Faith Washington was here Thursday to do her show,
I haven't talked to her in weeks.
I didn't
Freddie.
get a chance to say hello.
I know.
Because by the time that she finished and we were on the air and everything else, she waited, she had to go. I felt horrible. But in your business, new fabrics, new ideas, new concepts, new this, new that. And you have to move and flow and go.
Yes.
And
Plus
people,
payroll, plus
Oh.
the bills, plus,
It's
you know, the air conditioning is leaking, whatever. It's, you know, it is what it is.
And you have to keep up with the trends of decorating,
Yes.
right? And as the trends change, I think colors now are grays and whites, but then there's always a pop of color, right? So it can be any neutral palette, but a quilt works always.
Well, we don't really pay too much attention to the decor trends, but the industry itself, because you know we're very color driven, but the industry itself will pay attention to like the Pantone colors of the year. So the Pantone colors of the year are gray and yellow. So we made this beautiful gray and yellow quilt that's hanging in the store right now as a sample to show people what they can do if they want to incorporate the Pantone colors of the year. But it's really, we work with people to take, they might have that gray and white in their house, and then we work with them to do something, you know, to add that pop. And do with a quilt is really a perfect way, or pillows, to add a pop without committing to, you know, reupholstering your sofa. So
It
it's
changes the look.
Yes.
Just add a pillow and a quilt.
well, sometimes businesses, you know, you can highlight a business based on very small splashes. It doesn't have to be anything over the top. And then when they find out that you've done it, then it becomes over the top because it becomes a piece that you start talking about. I tell you, I had this, I used to get ditches all the time. All the time. And half of that time I didn't even do it. But they thought I did. And I pulled it off because I did enough of it to know it could be done.
And you could do it now, and it would come back like riding a bike. You
I
could
don't
do
know
it.
about all that, but my hands
I'm
don't
going to
work
send
the
the
same way.
camera over to Joanna's store, and we can film you doing whatever it is you're so.
I would do
be
that.
doing. I
What
know
do you
would.
think? I'm afraid of doing it on camera? You're not afraid.
You can do knitting, quilting,
I'm
crocheting.
gonna tell you, I don't remember how, but I'm sure if I take a class or two, I'll be okay.
My grandmother used to always take her knitting with her. She would always have her yarn and her needles and her bag, and always take it everywhere she went.
Michelle's 92-year-old grandmother, I used to sit down with her because I was amazed that at 92 she could do it like a machine. And she made socks for Freddie and Gio. And she was showing me how it was done in the day. I didn't care what she made. She could have made a dragon for all I care. I was just amazed that
think
she
it's
did it.
nice
Socks are so popular now. So talking about your darning and about the socks, was that before we went live about
I
the
think
socks?
so, yeah.
So you were asking about darning socks. So the disposable socks, like that you get, you know, at the store for, you know, to Hanes, 10 for
Right.
$6, those you toss. But people they knit socks. And, you know, a beautiful, you can, you know, the yarn could be $30 a skein if you pick a beautiful hand-dyed wool blend, you know, and so, yeah, if you're going to wear that out, you're going to darn that. But visible mending, which is kind of a throwback to the darning, is the trend now in, like, if you go on Pinterest or any of these, you go look up invisible mending. People are putting visible stitches on their jeans, their jackets. It is a big thing now. And then, of course, you can go to the mall and find jeans for $300 that were the rips, and then somebody stitched over them with a patch. And that is super hot right now.
Is that amazing?
It's totally
I have
amazing.
broken jeans. I'm not going to throw them away. I'm just going to stitch them.
Let's put some patches on your jeans.
I put some patches on. I'll make-believe patches. I put make-believe patches because that's the in thing. I seen people go to interviews for work, kids, and the pants have more holes in them than I've ever seen in
Yeah.
my life. I go, where are you going? Oh, I got a job interview.
No.
Is it right? Is the whole thigh is
It's
open?
like the whole. I'm like,
I know.
really?
What are your days of the week that you're open, your hours?
So we are open generally, we have some summer hours. So we just switched over. So for August and September, we're open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, from 10 to 6. And then we close on Thursdays just to be, that's actually going to be our class day. So because of, you know, we, like everybody else, has some staff issues, people coming and going, whatever. So we decided to have a day that is going to be, like for classes, where we're not open to the public, but we can, use the store for classes, which will be a lot of fun. And then Wednesday evenings and Sunday afternoons by appointment. So we kind of are offering a personal shopping. This is new, but I think it'll be really fun. So for people who want to come after work or on a Sunday afternoon, they can kind of call ahead and come in and pick a project or whatever in private.
And you'll have
Personal
to
shopping.
Walk them through it.
Absolutely.
You can do like a wine and sip. Coach Schnepp,
Sure, you can do a lot of things.
wine and sip. He would love that.
A lot of things. How do people reach you?
So we are online, obviously. Our website is stitchcraft.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook as Stitchcraft Boca. And of course, you can email us at info@stitchcraft.com. And all of those usual places. We're on Pinterest, all of the social media outlets. You can find us. We have.
Somebody open the door, please.
Oh, that's mine.
At your door?
Maybe
No,
not.
that's us.
Oh,
I
it's
think
okay.
it's, your colors are beautiful. Check out Stitchcraft Boca. They're right here on 20th Street and Dixie. So you can tell Joanna that the Brooklyn Cafe Show sent you. 3,600 square feet of beautiful fabric and crafts.
You can never be bored.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, more with our Monday Madness. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, Josh.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Proudly distilling out of West Palm Beach, Florida, Lost Harbor Spirits is a true treasure waiting to be discovered. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store. Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits.
Your property suffers from water, mold, fire, or biohazard. You need a professional remediation company that is fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Rescue Clean 911 offer 24/7 emergency service with 1-hour response times now in your area. Water, mold, fire, biohazard. Call now 1-833-253-2699.
Handling the hard jobs with a soft touch.
Attention Florida residents. Is constant water damage from the elements putting holes in your pipes and your wallet? We cut the cost when disaster strikes. You deserve to have your house be a home again. At Triumph, we get you paid the most for your insurance claims. Broken pipes, water damage, and mold? Triumph Consulting covers it all. Call our offices now to qualify for a free house inspection at 954-669-4935 or visit www.wegetYouPaid.com.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show, Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Of course, you know that's slick because he can't. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to run the applaud machine, so he's like hitting all these buttons. But yeah, we should put her to do a show Thursday night at 7 o'clock. A craft show. Let's see what you got there, Boston. What do you think? You can do that? Sure. I think it'll be. I think it'll be a hoot.
It'll be great because we were just talking during commercial break. You don't see there's cooking, there's diners, drive-ins, and dives, right? There's Anthony Bourdain that went around the best foods, and the other one he's touring Italy. You know who I mean? He's out there. He's doing all the Stanley Tucci.
Oh, yes.
Right, and everyone is watching this show. Is amazing. But you
those
don't
are
really
food
see,
shows.
right? You don't see anything really on crafting. And crafting to me is so much more than crafting. It's actually, for some people that aren't perfectionists, it helps you find peace and meditative and friends and things to do instead of just going out with a girlfriend to have a drink, right? You can go into this space and just sit around and talk and do what it used to be and just relax.
And it's an art. It really is. And I used weaving when we were talking about during the commercial break. I used weaving as an example. I do some weaving. I'm a beginner weaver. I just learned to weave. I was up in Massachusetts. I took a class last week. And I've been to Bali. I've been to the south of France, and I've been to Israel. And I've visited weaving studios. 3 completely different weaving studios, totally different types of weaving. And each one was absolutely stunningly magnificent. I mean, one was for church, one was prayer shawls, and one was ikat, like the stuff that you cover your, unbelievable. And they're all doing the same things, different ethnicities, different races, different socioeconomic backgrounds, but they all have an incredible talent to do their type of weaving. And, for the world, especially, we're so contentious. The world is so, there's so much negative, and there's always so much talk about what divides us. I'd love to share with the world, what connects us. That the person that doesn't have a lot of money but weaves the most amazing cloth in Bali is no different than me, except that she's much better, but we're all doing the same thing. We're all taking fabric and fibers and making fabric. And I think that would be great to show people how we really are, how we're the same and not different.
Well, your timing it couldn't be any better. And I got to tell you, the difference in those shows that you just mentioned, and I'm not disrespecting anybody, but a lot of the hosts on those other shows are very simple. Let them talk. So he goes to a restaurant, and the guy's going to cook a meal you ain't never seen before. That guy is going to do the show. The guy's standing here, let me taste, it's delicious. And that's all. You can count the number of words he does.
But what I love about this, you're going to laugh at me because my brain, the metaphor of what connects us, right? What does a thread do? It can sew, it can connect us, it can weave pieces of your life together. It can bring everything together instead of fragmenting and taking it apart.
So I'm getting ready to launch a podcast called A Creative Thread.
There you go.
And I've filmed some, I don't have that much time to edit. I'm juggling a lot of things, but that was something I've always wanted to do. And I was thinking about maybe adding video because we're such a visual thing, but I came up with the name A Creative Thread for exactly that. So you from my description, you got exactly what I was trying to convey.
Right, it's the metaphor of what a piece of thread can do.
Yes.
It's like Harold and the Purple Crayon, but imagine that as thread. And it can, even in the Jewish religion, there's, and I don't know the term, it's this thread that surrounds an area. So they actually move the thread. So right now it's like power line all the way to 441. Within this thread is their holy space of where you don't drive on Shabbat and you don't do certain things. You can walk, but it's this thread that connects everybody is what it is. Like Miriam's the red thread and the Kabbalah bracelet. There's so many things with this thread and the weaving and the stories that, oh my gosh, this could be unbelievable.
And
I don't even sew.
and the thing is that you want the timing of what you're talking about is so important because the kids, I think they started school today, didn't they?
I think next week, I heard,
So I
which
heard
I
some
can't
people-
believe.
I think it's next. The teachers might have come back
Teachers.
this week.
Gosh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
But
really?
there's a whole lot of stuff going down right now about school and about kids, and nobody's taking into consideration how children feel. Everybody's like, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna stay home, you're gonna wear masks. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's nothing to unify us into one way of thinking, which has gotta benefit everybody. You know, we can't even decide what thread to use. And I think that the timing of doing this thing has so many other different meanings that if people sat down for a minute, just sit for a minute and sort of think about your actions for a little bit. Maybe things would be, maybe Florida wouldn't be #1 right now in the negative, like it was Sunday, 21,000 new cases. This is ridiculous. Let's be right. If you stay right, you will always end up right, is what my father used to tell me. But you gotta be there. So I think that your show would be tremendous in its timing and implications. Now we're a video podcast. We do radio,
Right.
video, we do it all in there. I mean, we do Roku, we do Amazon Fire, all of that stuff is in the know because since I met Miss McGillicuddy over here 6 years ago, she said to me, there's never been a positive twist to anything you do, whether radio, television, or anything else. And I look at all these people on television now that have all these positive shows, these feel-good shows. Well, we've been doing it for 6 years.
Oh, because you can turn on the news and you're going to get a bad statistic because you can find a statistic for anything. Anything. If you search hard enough, you will find a statistic to support what you want, good or bad. So you know what? Let's find the good. Let's bring people together. Let's unite our community. There's so much negative stuff they talk about Florida. Let's bring something good about it because you know what? We have a great community.
And 360, the reason the kids went to your store, they didn't know they were going there. They didn't even know they were leaving that thing. We put this together that morning and says, okay, go out there and do it. We're going to do it again this Wednesday coming. And your store was in the line of fire. And we went in there. Some people said yes. Some people said no. You're the first that has come because we want to let the world know that you can still stay open. You just have to be careful.
And actually, Alana, who I don't know if she told you, she's Miss St. Petersburg.
No way.
And she came in 3rd runner-up for Miss Florida last month.
Wow.
So she is new working with us, and she's unbelievable. But her whole platform is about the arts.
Really? She did not tell me that.
It's called TAP, and I forgot what the acronym stands for. It's something about arts performances because she's actually a tap dancer also, and that was her platform. And for her, it's all about the arts, and her whole platform going forward was about the creative arts and how it brings people together. So for her to be in your store was amazing. She's one of our hosts, and maybe we can get her to do a Thursday spot with you.
Serendipity.
Welcome to our world, yes.
Love it. I love it.
That was good stuff.
What kind of classes do you offer for people who are writing and saying, what can I go there for?
Quilting, bag making, crochet. I had put a little, like we have a free demo. All right, I'm digging in my bag real quick. I thought I brought this. We have a free demo of, it's called amigurumi. Maybe I didn't put it in here.
Amigurumi?
Oh, it's in my purse. Never mind. It's a Japanese crochet style where they make, and I'm sure you've seen this out in the world, like little animals
Like
or little
origami?
fake
Go
food.
get it. I got to see this. Take the mic with you.
Like origami?
Oh, okay. No, it's, okay, hold on.
Origami. Origami is a city, ain't it?
It is.
Is that when you fold the little paper into
Okay, so
swans and stuff?
this is a little octopus.
Oh, how cute is that?
So this is called amigurumi. So the Japanese that have, that's like that's my bucket list next, like international trip if I can ever, like unbelievable, like they're everything. So it's crochet and they have like if you Google it, you're gonna find so much. So one of the gals is doing a little free demo on how to crochet cute little things like this, and then there'll be a free pattern with purchase to make a little octopus. And this is really easy. I mean, she can whip these up in no time. And we sell these little, it's cotton, like cotton yarn, and it's $1.65 for a ball of cotton yarn. And you can learn how to make cute little things.
And it becomes that.
Yes.
And she
Or
could do-
anything else.
Can she do like giraffes and hippopotami? We can make a whole zoo.
We have all these books and patterns in the store, and then you can also make, there's like baby mobiles that you can make little suns and moons and stars. You can make like little hot dogs and hamburgers and, bologna sandwiches, anything, you can make anything. But so this is something we're doing in the store on Friday afternoon. It's a free demo. So we do free demos. We do crochet classes. We do knitting classes. We're going to be doing some weaving classes because that's something we've done. We also have social gatherings, like on Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock. From 1 to 3, we have a yarn lovers group where anybody who's interested in sitting and knitting and crocheting, they just come and bring a project, sit, meet other people. It's free, and they help each other. They share ideas. It's just kind of a common thing in the creative world.
I used to do needlepoint.
You see, now the truth. After 2 hours of telling us she
I
didn't
forgot.
do nothing.
You know the things in the wheel that you put the fabric on, you tighten the wheel and do like all these cross stitch things? I used to do that.
Okay, so we have that.
Yeah, I used to do all that.
In a wheel.
You put this like tight wooden...
It's a hoop.
A hoop,
A
there you
hoop,
go.
yeah.
You would tighten it so the fabric would stay taut. And you could sew with, and not, it would
What
be
you make?
straight. Who remembers? It's probably in my house someplace.
You
I'm
made
sure I've
one
got a craft
piece? or
bag
you-
someplace filled with that, filled with the Creative Memories photo books I used to do.
I was so big into that.
All the scrapbooking stuff I used to do. All of that.
Remember the material that had all those little squares? You take a needle and you go through this square thing and you make a design. It was like for books.
It's like plastic lace.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's kind of like, what's that called?
Like where you'd make keychains out of the lanyard stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I never made a keychain, but yes, it's the
Yes.
plastic stuff.
Yeah.
That was PS 109.
We used to do latch hook rugs, like that was a
Oh,
thing.
you used to
We
do
get
those all the
They have
time.
kits, the little pieces of yarn, and you'd pull it up and make a rug.
I
Oh,
remember
we
that.
would take road trips. My mom would take the latch hook rug in the car with her into it until she couldn't move her arm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
My mother's showing me that. a little bit. Man, scariness.
All of that stuff. All right, more to come. Maybe Joanna will be doing a show Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
Thursday at
fun.
7.
Live on WWNM. All right, let's
like
take a
it.
commercial break. When we come back, we got to talk about Saturday morning shop.
Yes.
This is really exciting. We're going to be interviewing Renee Edwards this evening at 7 o'clock, all the way from Tampa, and our executive producer, Giovanni, is going to be joining us, talking about what she's got going on this Saturday, probably over 150 vendors, and you're going to let us know where it is.
Yes.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326.
Amp Media Productions and WNN Money Talk Radio have been in conjoint business for 10 years. They've been working around the clock, nonstop, to promote over 500 shows and businesses with added platforms such as social media live streaming, podcasts, and the specialty of live radio. To amplify your impact and start your show today, contact Amp Media Productions at 866-224-5.
Looking for a cool, laid-back space with great people and even better drinks? You can't lose. The Artful Dodger, Boca Raton's hidden gem. A good, old-fashioned local bar is hard to come by, but not anymore. The Artful Dodger is a fun, casual place to sit back and relax. Located at 495 Northeast 20th Street in Boca Raton, you'll find your new favorite bar. The Artful Dodger. We'll see you there.
Welcome to your vacation staycation. And what better way to kick back than to blend up a sweet pina colada, a smooth mojito, or just a nice stiff rum and coke. If you want true relaxation and enjoyment, then you want Gubba Rum. Gubba Rum is a unique rum infusion. Gubba Silver Rum is infused with real shredded coconut, and Gubba Rum Gold is infused with real shredded vanilla bean. Both are made with certified organic ingredients. Each infused Gubba rum is 35% ABV, 70 proof, and as we say in Boston, wicked smooth. So if you're looking for the best combination of taste, smoothness, quality, and price, your clear choice is Gubba rum. If you want that wicked smooth taste for yourself or your vacation, staycation, visit GubbaRum.com to find your closest liquor store that carries Gubba Rum Gold and Gubba Rum Silver. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
AMP2 TV and WNN Money Talk Radio have been in conjoint business for 10 years. They have been working around the clock, non-stop, to promote over 500 shows and businesses reaching all over South Florida. With added platforms such as social media live streaming, podcasts, and the specialty of live radio, it has never been easier to get your voice heard by millions of listeners. To amplify your impact and start your show today, contact AMP2 TV at 866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Somebody told Dan he didn't have to sit there. Slick is so mean.
So one of our producers is sitting there with one of the artists who did this for this week's show, and it may take him 3.5 hours to do this. So we usually just let him roll, and then we air it. But when he's sitting in there in this room since 11:30 this morning, and nobody has come out for bathroom break,
Nothing.
water, they usually come and they take my fan. That's here. Nobody has moved.
No, because Dan is new, so he didn't tell Dan that he could leave.
So we'll see.
So Dan is still in there.
We'll see how that rolls
He's probably
out.
gonna be like this what time we walk in there.
But
Oh.
tonight we have an exciting announcement.
We do. I just got a message from Danielle, the photographer,
Yeah.
host of Brazil
Plus
TV, that an RV is available for us to go over to Tampa to meet Renee and my son Gio at this function that's going on. It's called the Saturday Morning Shopper. And it's about 150 vendors, and they're outside the stadium for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in the parking lot. And they're all out there and they're selling their goods, and it's become a community sensation. Everybody is jumping to go there. It's like only $60 to go for the vendors. So now she wants to do it with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team in their parking lot, and she wants to bring it over here to Miami. So we spoke to Shebley Wines, and he's going to give me 5 acres of land.
Down in Homestead.
Because he says, I want you to make it for 1,000 vendors. I mean, it'd be the Super Bowl of all Super Bowls if we ever got this
Be a
done.
great place to do a craft show, though, all the way down Homestead. But he's a winery, and they do movie night, and they do events, and he does all fruit wine, but not grapes. So they were a big produce company, and they now do mango wine and lychee wine and kiwi wine, and they also have beers.
That kiwi wine
Miami-
is unbelievable.
Miami Brewing Company. So let's put up the flyer, you guys. I think it's for Saturday night. But tonight, live on WWNN at 7 o'clock, we're going to be interviewing Renee and Giovanni and talking about this Saturday over in Tampa.
Yes, and
there
there's the
it is.
flyer.
10 to 4, and I don't know if they're full or not at Tropicana Field Park. Look at that, Saturday morning shop.
It's a free backpack giveaway for school, back to school, parking lot
to school.
4.
I can't believe school is going back already.
Oh, it's
next
going back.
week.
It's going back. It starts at 10 o'clock. And the funny thing is that I was kidding about an RV and taking some of the kids with us over to Tampa. And then we come out and we're in our vests and jackets and paraphernalia and cameras. And she loved it. She says, oh my God, you got to do that. So I made a couple of phone calls and let's see if we can get it accomplished. Now, the gentleman in Miami, he has a 60-foot screen. And he puts on productions and shows from all over the world. And people go in their car, and you drive in your car, you stay in your car, and you watch the show. Pretty much like they were doing
Like
in
a
Miami
drive-in.
and everything, like a drive-in. So I said to him, wouldn't it be great if our people were singing on the stage and sending it out all over the world? His mouth hit the floor. He says, can you do that? So we're gonna have Kendra, JC, we're gonna have Donna, we're gonna have all the singers in-house head on down there and do a show for a couple of hours.
Do you sing?
No, it's one thing I cannot.
But we could hold all sorts
Oh,
of
here
classes
he
on the
comes.
side.
How you doing? Jay, we worry about you. You don't come out for hours.
Are you okay?
That's David. David 2020.
Is that the Statue of Liberty?
That's David. That is amazing, Jay.
Davis 2020. Is that the guy you told me that's naked?
Yes.
Well, at least you only did his face.
Jay, that's incredible. This is Jay Harmon, our colored pencil artist. Joanna Fox owns Stitchcraft. Does Barbara knit or sew?
Let's finish that.
Jay, does Barbara knit or sew?
Not that I know of.
Joanna owns a beautiful store over just around the corner from here.
Oh, really?
That's amazing. Can I show that on air?
Sure.
That is very appropriate.
He can't walk. He's been
He's
sitting
been
there for
sitting
3
2
hours.
I'm old.
Look at this little piece.
And this is all done in colored pencil.
This is amazing. So this is called David 2020.
David 2020.
Pretty appropriate, isn't it?
Scary. The
Jay,
man
this
is
is
scary.
incredible how you make this look like stone, like the sculpture. And I don't know how you do what you do. I got to tell you, the pop art is spectacular. This is just a whole nother level of amazing. Wow.
Interesting.
And this will air Thursday on the Colored Pencil Artist Show. So tune in for that Thursday afternoon.
And you can watch me doing it.
The whole thing. You can do
5
it as well. And you can learn to do it also. So we're talking about doing some art classes. And Jay actually does art classes on Skillshare.
I do.
How's that coming along? I'm going to get this
I'm
back to you.
waiting
For
to get
Riley?
I'm waiting for Riley. If anybody sees Riley,
I thought he said
Where in
something
the world
yesterday.
is Riley?
I thought he sent something yesterday.
I haven't seen anything.
Don't I think I sent it to you? I think we might have it already. I'll
Okay.
check.
Okay,
I'll
so I
check.
emailed him. I should be here. And
There was something with a nose that you did. Something
I
in.
sent the nose. That
Okay,
but
I
there's
think he sent it. I'll
10
check.
other parts.
I'll check. Yep. I think the nose and the other parts was in there. I'll
That's
check.
incredible. What a great piece that is.
Thank you.
Nice. All right.
Okay, I
Thank
will
you,
have
Jay.
it framed and you will have it.
We will have it. So tune into the Colored Pencil Artist this Thursday at 2:30 to see how he draws David 2020. That's a great piece for medical offices, for anyone that's re-implementing masks that are just put on your mask. I love that. I think we should even make copies of that.
That would be a good one to make prints of because it's very topical, I think.
Yes, definitely a great one to make prints of.
It's amazing. You
Don't you
roll in
think?
out of bed. Yeah, it is. I didn't even know he was. First, I didn't even know he was coming. I thought usually he's here on Wednesdays.
No, he told us he was coming today,
Today,
but it works
but
out
I didn't
all
get the
well.
memo. And second of all, I can't believe the whole concept behind the mask.
I can't believe you did that in 2 hours either. That's a whole nother side. That's amazing.
You're getting faster. You're getting faster.
Faster. Well, maybe. If you watch it on the show, you'll see how fast it is. 5 minutes.
About 5 minutes and 32 seconds, exactly.
You speed it up. Amazing, amazing stuff.
That's awesome, Jake. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And we definitely have to make prints of that for
I'm,
sure.
I'm thinking we're going to have to do some kind of benefit. I'm thinking of maybe taking all the small ones that we have,
and quilting it.
not quilting it, of course, in quilting. Taking all the small ones and maybe having a fundraiser
It's a good idea.
of some sort. Maybe a back-to-school fundraiser or something. with the proceeds, big portion of it goes towards the fundraiser.
You know, just when you thought kids would be able to go back to school without masks on, well, that's a whole nother controversy, but I don't know. Back to school is next week. I can't believe it's next week. I keep saying it, but it just feels like the middle of the summer. Nothing for us has changed. As adults, you go to business every day, right? You go to work every day to get hotter or colder, and that's how you gauge it. But a lot of our artists have gone away for the summer. They've all gone to North Carolina until like October.
Nice. Nice.
And all of a sudden, you see all these things coming out of North Carolina. They're doing all sorts of meetings and stuff and artist stuff.
But they're all collaborating.
Because they're all
North
up there.
They're
Is
all
that
up there.
Asheville, the Asheville area?
Yeah.
But they all get to collaborate up there. But this is a great way to collaborate also. This Saturday, if you're in Tampa, you want to head over to Tampa to check this out. I think there's about 160, 170 vendors in the parking lot, but we're going to find out tonight how much it is and when the next one is. I think it's every 2 weeks, but maybe she's
We're
opening
gonna
up
find
more.
out. Well, the amazing thing about this is that vendors get in for very little money, and the outcome is tremendous. And they have everything from food to everything else you had in there. She even had entertainers in there that were swallowing swords that were on fire and everything. Yeah.
I don't think I'll be doing that so
Yeah,
fast.
I wouldn't be doing it either, but they were doing it. But she had everything, and she had dances, she had all sorts of stuff going on in the boat. We're gonna find out because we did a show with them, I think a month ago, and they burned up the phone lines.
Yeah.
When is it starting? Let's go, let's get it done. But there's a few things that have to be done on the technical side to be able to pull this off.
But, you know, this is kind of what we were talking about during commercial break, is these home craft vendor fairs, for lack of a better term, really have stopped. But now she's bringing it back for more than just crafts, even just small businesses that haven't been able to sustain their rents or are just starting because people are now shifting careers and they don't want to go into overhead. So all the things that we were just talking about, she's bringing back because everything got so big and now we're reevaluating.
And
No
people-
overhead.
Yeah, and people are contacting. Orlando wants her. A couple of other cities here in Florida want to participate in this program. She's the only person that I've ever met who is on the welcoming wagon when you come in from Georgia. Says, welcome to Florida, and you pull over, and you can get maps and stuff. She has a kiosk there that highlights all the different vendors that she's associated with, and you could take a card or whatever it is that she puts in there, and I'm impressed, I gotta tell you. Hats off to Renee, it's a great idea she started.
We need that here.
Well, we're
That's
working
right.
on
Our
that.
local area. I would
We
love
do.
that.
We wanted to do the Boca Bash, the Boca
Basil.
Basil. We wanted to do a Boca Basil for the artists, but not just artists, musicians, and everything else. We wanted to open it up for communities to communicate with one another and to work with one another and to do all sorts of things within one another, the coaches and the business coaches and everything else. The psychological help, now that Bias came out, she says that she needed a mental breather. All of a sudden it's okay to say, listen, I'm under a lot of pressure, I need a timeout. And there's nothing wrong with that, never has been, but maybe now more people will be more honest and not try to do a job under that kind of pressure because it ain't gonna come out right.
But this is a great idea. This goes back to a little bit smaller, but with a huge impact. You don't always have to be so big to make a big impact.
And she's making a difference. I asked her for a shirt. I'm gonna say it must have gotten lost in the mail because I want my shirt, Renee. I want my shirt.
So check that out. It's Saturday Morning Shop, SHOPPE. I believe it's $100 per vendor. Food vendors, I think, are only $60, and you keep all of the proceeds. And then she's got different sponsorships on the back of the shirts that all of the volunteers wear. I don't know how this woman has done it. It's only been a couple months, and she just keeps growing. She went from a church parking lot to Tropicana Field.
To
That's
now
awesome.
Tom Brady to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers field.
It's pretty amazing.
Soon the field
I think
at
that's ours because I'm vibrating.
soon at the fields in the Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Tonight, 7
FedEx
o'clock.
ready.
Good. It's right there.
FedEx is in the house.
All right. Why don't we just say bye this? I can work with it.
All right. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe. Be kind to each other. And we will see you tonight at 7 o'clock on WWNN.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
In the cold and sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can thicken every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save it. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors. Just a ray of light, bathing me in drops of ink that gleams across my body. Wish you could unfreeze my heart and we could